Hello vinyl community, and welcome back to Mike's Vinyl Experience. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today I've got a short video, a fun video for sure, I think, of a classic album from 1970. Today we're going to be talking about the Grateful Dead's 1970 release of American Beauty. This is the Rhino High Fidelity series that just got released a couple, 3 weeks ago. We're going to take a look at that. We'll look at the album cover itself, the music, talk about how it sounds. We'll also compare this album to the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version of this album that came out just a few years ago, and I believe is still in print to this day as well. So we'll take a look at that and do a quick comparison. Let's first go ahead and get started with the album cover and the contents of the album. Let's see what we're getting for our $39 from Rhino Records. So as we take a look at the Rhino High Fidelity album and repress of Grateful Dead American Beauty, we've known that they've always just done wonderful work as far as the album cover is concerned, and of course the sonics on the albums that they have done as part of the High Fidelity series have all been phenomenal. Let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit about the album really quick. Of course, we all know Rhino entrusts Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio to do the remastering from the original master tapes. It's cut on 180 gram vinyl, and we're going to take a look at the record here in just a minute. It's pressed at Optimal Media. Of course, the heavyweight gatefold jacket, we're going to take a look at that a little closer. Includes an exclusive insert with notes by David Gans. And then, of course, as we know with the High Fidelity series that Rhino was doing, they're all limited to 5,000 copies. My number on the album is 3777 of 5,000. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the inside of the album cover. As you can see there, we got a picture of the band. I believe that's a live set that they're doing. It might be in the studio. I can't really tell for sure, but there's a picture of the band. Really a nice photo on the inside of the album. Well, you can see that without glare. Sorry if there is a glare, I apologize. Also, the back cover, extremely nicely done. Lists the the songs on both side 1 and 2, and then it lists the band members. You've got Jerry Garcia as lead guitar, pedal steel, piano, and vocals. You got Phil Leash, bass, guitar, piano, and vocals. Bob Weir, guitar and vocals. Pigpen is harmonica and vocals. Mickey Hart on percussion, and Bill Kretzmann drums. Robert Hunter wrote some of the songs on the album. So overall, I think the album cover and the gatefold that you get is phenomenal. They just do a great job. Let's quickly take a peek at the album. The vinyl, of course, is pressed on 180 gram vinyl. Here is side 1. I hope you can see that without a whole lot of glare. Absolutely wonderful looking vinyl album. Here is side 2. Very nicely done. I hope you can see that well without any glare. Sorry if there is glare. I apologize for that. As indicated, the remastering was done by Kevin Gray at Coherent. So the music on the album is really quite phenomenal. For our $40 that we're spending, we're getting an awful lot, in my opinion, not just in the incredible gatefold cover that we're getting. Of course, the music and the vinyl are excellent. This is the flyer that they talk about, and they've done this on a few of the releases as well, which I think is really cool. A picture, I should say, of the original master tapes. Over on the back side, kind of the same thing. And then, of course, they've got a picture of the band, which I think is really cool. Then this is David Gans' article that he wrote about the album, which I think is really, really a cool touch. I don't know if you can see that, and I hope the glare's not overbearing. But I think what we're getting for our money for $40 on these Rhino High Fidelity series is actually wonderful. It's just incredible. The music is really, of course, what we're after. And of course, as we've known, Kevin Gray has done just a great job with remastering. I've not been disappointed in any of the high fidelity series that I picked up. I've not got them all. I've just got the ones that I, of course, are interested in. But they've all been great. In listening to this album intently for the past week and a half or so, I wrote some notes on the songs that I wanted to share with you as I listened to this album, and just really honestly and truthfully about the sonic signature of this album. It's done very, very well, as indicated, as all of the Rhino high fidelities I think have been done very, very well. Box of Rain, first cut on side one, good overall balance of instruments with voice. You've got a really good, clean, clear vision of the music as it's being played on this cut. Moving on to Friend of the Devil, good overall balance once again. And the reason I say good overall balance, nothing is over exaggerated. Bottom end, top end, middle, voices, everything is blended and mixed perfectly, which I think is, that's what I call balance. It just sounds balanced and natural. Might be the best word for it is natural. Sugar Magnolia. Now, this is one of the big hits on the album as well. Sugar Magnolia. Truckin's obviously the big hit, but Sugar Magnolia and Box of Rain too, the first song was a big hit at the time too. Sugar Magnolia has got just incredibly excellent sound, nicely balanced with more of a laid-back presentation on this cut. And I'm going to explain that in a minute when we get to the comparison with the Mobile Fidelity. Candyman, nice, great. The harmonica in Candyman sounds incredibly clear and detailed, extremely nice. I don't know if you have an original copy of the album or a digital source CD or high resolution file. I have a high resolution file of the album, and the vividness of the harmonica in this cut, Candyman, is incredible. You have to hear it. It's really neat. Side two, Ripple guitar. This was a hit off the album as well. Guitar and right speaker sounds very nice with a good overall balance. There's organ in this one, and really on my digital copy that I listen to quite a bit, even in the car and whatnot, and with headphones when I'm traveling, the organ is just more, you can hear it better in this album. It's just more a part of the sound, where I think it gets a kind of little bit lost in the digital form that I'm used to listening to. Broken Down Palace, guitars are clean and extremely open. Wonderful, wonderful sounding album, or song, excuse me. Till Morning Comes, next cut on side two. Guitars, once again, clean and open and very precise. Bottom end is good without being overbearing. The bottom end is done very, very well here on this entire album. Addicts of My Life. This is probably my favorite song on the album. It's not the most popular song. It really wasn't a big hit for them on the album, but it's my favorite. And voices are absolutely beautiful. They were kind of learning and listening, and they were hanging out at times during this time when this was recorded in 1970 with Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. And they had just released Deja Vu. And they were talking amongst themselves about harmonization. And this song is incredible with the harmonization of the Grateful Dead. They do on a lot of their songs, but this one in particular is spectacular on Addicts of My Life. The guitars are great, indicated the song. This is a great, great cut on the album. I think it's a must listen. Truckin', of course, the probably most popular song, one of the most popular songs ever that the Grateful Dead did is Truckin'. Guitars are clean. Percussion and bass sound incredibly awesome and detailed. Proper weight to the bottom end with the drums. The organ, once again, in this piece is very tangible. Voices are well balanced and clean. Overall, I would classify the Rhino High Fidelity as an extremely well balanced, from top to bottom, version of this album. It sounds clean, it sounds precise. To me, it's a wonderful, wonderful copy. When you consider $40 for this vinyl release and the quality of sound that you're getting, to me, it's huge. The only troublesome thing that I have with this album is the fact that it's limited to 5,000, and once those are gone, it's gone, which drives price up, months down the road, whenever it is that they sell out, which I kind of think is the only drawback to this. But they're making 5,000, and we know that, and so there we go. So anyway, that's my sonic impressions of this album. Overall, I would classify the Rhino High Fidelity version of American Beauty by the Grateful Dead as an absolute success. Wonderful, wonderful sounding album. So let's compare the Rhino High Fidelity version of this wonderful album to the Mobile Fidelity version of the album, which is a 45 RPM version that was just released. I'm trying to think, it was 5-6 years ago. It might have been longer, but I don't think it's been too much longer than that that they did. Let's just quickly go over the album cover before we get to the sound and the music on this. The album cover, right here again, I think Mobile Fidelity did a nice job with this album cover. I think it looks good. Colors are true. I think it looks very good. Not as glossy and shiny as the Rhino High Fidelity. I would absolutely give the cover of the Rhino High Fidelity version of this album the nod. I think it looks better. Now here's the difference. As I open up the gatefold, this is the gatefold. This is what we got. We don't have that really high quality, nice picture of the band on the inside. So I'm neither here nor there on that. I don't think this is quite as neat as the original, or excuse me, as the Rhino High Fidelity. The back cover is pretty much identical. I think they've done a very nice job. As indicated, these are limited in numbers. I shouldn't say limited, and maybe they are limited, but I don't know what that limit number is. Last check on the MoFi website and Music Direct, they are waiting for a repress. So these are still in print. They're just waiting for a repress on these, so these still can be had. Price on this album is $59 compared to $39 for the Rhino High Fidelity. Okay, a little bit about the album. This album, as we've talked a little bit about with the Rhino, came from the original master tapes. According to Mobile Fidelity's website, this album also came from the original master tapes, right directly to analog console and to lathe. So there's no digital DSD 256 or DSD step in this album, from what I am gathering from the Mobile Fidelity website. They indicate there is no digital step in this. Of course, they're 45 RPM. Mobile Fidelity does a great job in packaging their albums. This is not on Mobile Fidelity Super Vinyl. This is just on their standard regular vinyl that they use. I'll give you a quick little shot of it. This one here is side 2. Let's take a look at side 1. There is side 1 of the Mobile Fidelity, 45 RPM. You get 2 songs on this side, 3 songs on side 2, and of course side 3 and 4 are very, very similar. And so this is, of course, as we talked about, a 45 RPM version. Now, about the sound. This is where it gets really interesting for me as I compared these two albums. And I compared these, I've listened to these two albums back and forth quite a few different times. What I actually did is I took 3 or 4 songs on each album and kind of focused on them as I compared them between the Rhino High Fidelity 33 RPM version and the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version. And my conclusions were very interesting. I wasn't necessarily expecting the results that I got from this comparison. As I listened to the albums, And as I listen to the Mobile Fidelity, indicating, going back and forth, the Mobile Fidelity album has a little bit more extended top end than the Rhino High Fidelity does. Now, in saying that, I don't necessarily mean that it's over bright. When you say the top end's extended a little bit, you might want to think, okay, that could be over bright. And to be honest with you, on some systems, if you have an overly bright sound system, then this album, the Mobile Fidelity, might come across as being bright. On my system, however, it really, really worked. It wasn't overly bright, but that extended top end gave me the sense of better inner detail and a little bit better clarity. I can't even explain it to you. I'm going to try and do it the best I can with some of the songs that I listened to. I'm picking 2 or 3 of them that I chose Ripple, I chose Truckin', I chose Addicts of My Life, and I also chose, which was the other one here, Sugar Magnolia. And on these songs, that extra extended top end on the Mobile Fidelity, it really, really worked. On Box of Rain, extended top end, better detail on voices and guitars, much quieter sound on the vinyl. Now, the noise floor on the Rhino High Fidelity was quite higher than it is on the Mobile Fidelity version. Their vinyl, I guess, is just quieter. I don't know, I guess, but there's a significant difference there in noise floor between the vinyl. So that was very obvious. And of course, the 45 RPM, I'm sure, is helping in that respect. On Sugar Magnolia, on the MoFi, more open on the top end without being too bright, better resolution, drums are better defined. On Ripple, once again, more open on the top end, better space between instruments, voices are excellent. The organ is even more clean on this cut than it is on the Rhino High Fidelity. Excellent, excellent resolution on that. Moving on over to Voices of My Life. Now, this is the song, as I've indicated, this is my favorite song on the album. Voices are more vivid. Highs are more extended. Bass guitar is more pronounced. I felt I could hear his fingers picking on the chords. Might be a touch bright in the voice. The reason I said that is because with that extended top end, that extended on the top end of the music spectrum, as the voices are harmonizing, and these guys actually reach some pretty high notes, you kind of get thinking right there, oh my gosh, is this going to get to where it's a little bit shrill, a little bit edgy? It didn't, but it got close. This song in particular, Addicts in My Life, I might prefer the version on the Rhino High Fidelity more so than I do on the Mobile Fidelity, but that's the only song. In my opinion, listening to these two intently for days, going back and forth, the Rhino High Fidelity, first off and foremost, is a fabulous, fabulous. You can't go wrong in purchasing this. It's wonderful. It's an excellent, excellent sounding. In my impressions, in my system, and how I like my music, I actually prefer the sound on the Mobile Fidelity version over the Rhino High Fidelity. And I think it's just because of that extended top end, gives you that impression of better detail, inner detail at the top and mid-range. And it also has an effect on the bottom end, where I think the bottom end on both the albums are equal. But I think when you have that extended hint of extended resolution through the Mobile Fidelity, it really improves that bottom end. As indicated, bass guitar on Addicts of My Life was just very much different than it was on the Rhino. Even though the voices on the Rhino version, I actually liked a little bit better. But the inner detail of the Mobile Fidelity, that extended top end, I would have to give the nod, and my preference would be for the Mobile Fidelity version of this album. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this helps you out. If you're interested, you cannot go wrong with the Rhino High Fidelity version of the Grateful Dead, American Beauty. It is absolutely wonderful. If you don't have an overly bright system, you very well might like the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version better. I believe it gives you a little bit better resolution and I think a little bit better overall presentation. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. As always, please leave comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. If you have both of these copies, I'd love to know what you think. Every system's going to present things differently than others. Everybody's preference in their sound of music is going to be different than others. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Have a great day.